those Oscars were kind of boring, but there were some great moments.
You're really proud of that, aren't you?
Totally. I was watching the Oscars, mostly all of it last night, and I was like, and then the DMV got a shout out, and I was like, the what? What's going on with Glenn Close? We got to get to that, plus some winners, some losers. Kelly, did you watch? I know you're a little bit skeptical of award shows.
No, I watched about 7 minutes of it, and I was like, bore fest. I mean, it was just, first off, I hadn't seen half the movies, so that was part of the issue. But also, it's really hard to get involved with celebrities, telling celebrities that they're pretty. I just wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, some ups, some downs, some wins, some losses. Let's get to it. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right.
Live from DC. Broadcasting around the Beltway and beyond, it's Tommy and Kelly made in DC on the Real Fun DC channel and on demand anytime, anywhere you get your podcasts.
I almost forgot to tell you, too. My husband, Chris, basically won an Oscar last night.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
All right. The floor is yours, Tommy.
I'll get to that in just a minute. We cannot not start with not talking about Glenn Close.
I love that we're talking about the moment that, great, this went viral, and I think it's hilarious, but it is actually a moment that has nothing to do with the awards.
Nothing at all. No, nothing at all. Questlove was trying to test people's musical skills, and Lil Rel was like going around to different artists or actors. Mm-hmm. And I don't care if this was a setup. I want to believe that it wasn't a setup. I don't even care if it was, because it was so fantastic. Of course, Glenn Close is like Cruella de Vil, among other things. And she was quizzed about her knowledge of the butt from the Spike Lee film School Days. And everyone was kind of like, what's going on here? What's going to happen? And we didn't really know. But then Glenn Close made it all happen.
Let's see. Let me see you do the butt.
Wait, let me go to this clip first. I have my clips backwards.
The Butt was, wait a second, it was a classic song by the great Washington, D.C. go-go band EU. Oh. So, yeah, and shout outs to Sugar Bear and the Backyard Band and the whole DMV. So anyway.
I was like, what?
So, wait, I remember this. So Spike Lee, had it written for his brilliant movie, School Days. And my friends at the Oscars missed it, and it wasn't nominated, so it couldn't have won, which I think is...
I think she said that was a gosh darn problem. This is what she said.
Oh,
she got bleeped, yeah.
Okay.
So everyone was like, wow, Glenn Close knows the butt. Look at that. That's the thing. And then it went even further, and I'm going to use this meme. I don't even know how, but constantly. And I've also put together, maybe you haven't seen the comparison, Glenn Close with the actual EU video from 1989. She's got some moves.
Oh, let's see it. Let me see you do the butt. Let's see it.
I was like ready for bed when that happened, and I was like, gotta get my phone. Where's that guy? What's happening?
That's good stuff. But yeah, I do think it is a little staged, but great to see. Good shout out to Go-Go Music. I mean, that's really cool.
Yeah, I don't even care if it was staged. I really hope it wasn't, but I don't even care. Because
you got to remember, it's a room full of actors. So this is what they do.
Totally. They do not read teleprompters, though. I'm just saying, don't send an actor to do an MC's job. That's all.
And vice versa.
Totally. Some of them were a little rough on the whole reading the teleprompter thing. You could see them like sounding it out with their eyes as they were reading it. But then there were I loved seeing Yoon Jong-yoon get up there and talk about Brad Pitt and just her whole like moment. I saw her like pre-show interviews. She was great.
I don't understand why. So they did things very differently, obviously, for all the reasons, but some didn't really make sense. Like they gave out the Oscars for Best Song before the Oscars started, like in the pre-show. Mm-hmm. And usually that's like when like Celine Dion or like Whitney Houston or Adele comes in and does like, a montage of all the songs that have been nominated, and like sort of it like breaks up the entire evening to have like a musical artist be part of it. And it's like that show-stopping moment.
Yeah.
And I really miss that. I shouldn't say I missed it because I probably turned it off before that, but I
No,
read
it happened, Kelly. As a matter of fact, a hologram of Prince and a hologram of Whitney and Adele all did a thing. It was great.
that would have been amazing. But this morning when I woke up, I was just trying to get like the headlines of what happened because I didn't watch a lot of it. And the New York Post's headline was served up to me, which said, Oscars 2021 tortured viewers for more than 3 unbearable hours. I was like, okay.
Well, that is.
I think it sucks though, because it's usually something that like, it was so exciting because there was a red carpet and kind of like this return to normal where the celebrities are getting together. But I think that the luster of award shows, just with everything that we've all been through, has just kind of dulled a little bit.
Yeah, and I was kind of hoping for a better show from the people who make movies.
Well, maybe they should stick to movies
Yeah,
versus live award ceremonies.
Maybe shame on me for that, but like Nomadland, the big winner last night. But it was, I thought like the Grammys were a better show, like a better produced show, and maybe it's because there was music, like there was performances and stuff.
Yeah.
But they didn't even really play clips of the movies that were nominated. And most of us didn't do a lot of movie watching this year. We were sort of like, dealing with the spiraling downward like hellscape that the year was. So I didn't get a chance to catch up on Anthony Hopkins' latest production. So I feel like they should have given us some clips for context clues.
Yes, that is for sure.
So that was a little bit of it. And it was just weird that they had them all like in that stage space, I guess, with like the showcase tables, and they were trying to like, I would have thought the Oscars would have had more cameras, that they weren't like, hey, Halle Berry, read this teleprompter and then let me go find people one at a time. It kind of had that like 90s wedding reception video vibe, like who's got some words for the bride and groom. It kind of felt like that, or like every bar mitzvah video I've ever seen, like that they would like go around and like get like commentary from all the guests.
Yeah, and also the fashion just seemed kind of like shmeh. And I think when you go do the Grammys, right, you have all these different genres. And not to say that it was the most diverse year ever, but still, like the Grammys, the artists get really, really jazzed up and they get creative with their red carpet wears.
Yeah,
but
totally.
Yeah.
Speaking of Anthony Hopkins, which I still haven't seen, The Father, that was the big upset of the night. Everyone's talking about too, that Chadwick Boseman didn't win for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom for the Best Actor category posthumously. Everyone was basically like, I think even because I think Anthony Hopkins like posted a acceptance speech like later on social media. Like I don't think he even thought he was going to win. So he wasn't even there. He was in Wales.
Okay, well,
hey,
that's where he lives.
Everyone's zooming these days.
But he was also the oldest ever to win an Oscar. So while it's an upset, there's always an upset at the Oscars, though. There's always some controversy. I mean, it wouldn't be the Oscars without that.
That's absolutely true. I want to talk about how my husband won an Oscar last night as well. Pretty much.
That sounds very controversial as well.
Yeah, so was pretty proud of that. I mean, he doesn't get a statue or anything. He wasn't like mentioned on stage. But this is really actually pretty awesome. So my husband is, and also this Oscar win happened basically from our kitchen table this year. So he works with the National Association of Manufacturers. He's their vice president of brand strategy. I often say he's the VP of BS. But he's been working from home and working from our kitchen table this whole time. And they've been working a lot with like the manufacturers of America, like working on like vaccine hesitancy and supplies and like, all the like. I'm in here doing like the hee-haw about the butt, and he's in there, solving problems of getting people vaccinated and like finding PPE. So it's a very different situation if you go into the kitchen versus the spare bedroom in our place. But one of his ideas that they put together and they made happen were these safety pins, these red and yellow ribbon pins that they're distributing throughout manufacturing facilities throughout the country. And it's kind of a way to like show your coworkers that you are vaccinated, that people can like feel good about it, as like trying to make everyone sort of have a little bit more like comfort. And what was super cool, which like had to be kept under wraps, the production crew who put the Oscars together, the producers asked them for a bunch of the pins. And cool. Everyone who was on like the production of the show, by the way, I do regret now saying it looked like a 90s wedding reception video. Sorry, everyone. they all had the pins on. So they were like showing that they were vaccinated and they were like trying to have a safe set. But what's cool is the actual producer of the Oscars, he was wearing one and he wore it on the red carpet.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. And then from Nomadland, Swanky wore one too.
Very cool.
Yeah, so she was she had it up on stage, and it was neat, like as they did like the shots with like Bryan Cranston and all the different like folks who were involved, they saw the pins on because a lot of people who were like on the back end of the production had them on, and there they were.
That's very cool.
Which is also why we watched it for 3 hours last night, because it was kind of like playing Duck Hunt. We kept looking for pins on the screen all night long.
That's good. Well, he got involved in some of your hee-haw. That's
totally.
helpful.
It was actually the perfect like melding of our two worlds together. Because he's like, I see a pin, and I was like, no, we're talking about EU right now. And he was like, no, there's a pin, and I was like, but. So it all came full circle, and the Oscars were a big family endeavor last night at our house.
So can we assume that everyone was vaccinated at the Oscars last night? Is that like what happened?
Well, everyone who had a pin on, hopefully. So, I didn't see a pin on everybody. Frances McDormand did not have a pin on, but also I feel like maybe they did have some pins, and people and publicists were like, "Give me that. What is that? Take that off."
That's true. That's true.
So,
we know how that works.
Yeah, totally. So that was a pretty cool thing, and I will. I'm getting my second shot tomorrow, so maybe I'll get a pin. I don't know. I have to ask if there's extras. I think he sent them all to Hollywood, and now that Swanky wore it, it's like I'm not sure I can get my hands on him anymore.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so like, way to go, Hubs. I'm gonna brag on my Hubs a little bit, because it was literally something that I remember. It was in the evening one night. He's still working at the kitchen table, and he was like, "I got it, pins," and I was like, "What is happening?" And then I've seen the process. It's been like months putting this whole thing together, and they had to decide on the color because different color ribbons mean different color things, and different things mean different things. And they had to find like a color scheme that didn't mean anything or meant something that was non-controversial. So the whole thing's happening. So there you go. If you want to learn more, you can go to nam.org, which is a website that I frequent often. So if you want to check out information about the red and yellow ribbon campaign.
No one believes you on that one, but yes,
No.
that's where you can get the button.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I go to nam.org as much as my husband goes to realfundc.com.
Right, exactly.
So that's why we have things to talk about at dinner, because we don't really have very much in common professionally. So that's great.
It is amazing though. Like you think about, and we've talked about this before, like in a year's time, we've survived a pandemic. We've come up with a vaccination, which is in itself just like the scientists that figure it out. But then the manufacturers that have done hundreds of millions of not just the vaccination, of the needles, of the plastic top that goes on the needle, and then distributed it. It's kind of like insane when you think about it.
Absolutely. And before that, it was like making the PPP, and like there were some conversations that happened at my kitchen table. Let's call it like April, around ventilators. Whoa. Just whoa. And right. Like how they're actually putting out a piece soon about how like the manufacturers like solved the toilet paper crisis, which we had, which like these are all things you don't think about, but all things that I heard through the wall, which were actual like important problems while we're over here being like, do you think Adele's album's going to come out this year or next year?
Right. So. We appreciate it. Well, also, will you also ask them what's happening with the ketchup packets? Because I'm very concerned about that too.
Oh yeah, the shortage ketchup packets.
Yes.
Don't even get me started on ketchup packets, because I'm like now on the not sugary ketchup train. Life changing.
Is it
life changing? Yes. Dude. I was a Heinz person my entire life. I would have fought you if you were like, would you rather Hunt's? But I don't even want either anymore. There's like real tomatoes in the ketchups that I've gotten my hands on. Mind blown.
Yeah, I still like my ketchup with a little bit of sugar in it.
It sounds like another topic for another time, though. We could have a whole debate on ketchups and as to how they are not what they said they used to be. And then remember, there's that DC company called Chups Ketchups, and they apparently ketchup has like an ancient style, and it's not specifically a tomato based, and they make like apricot ketchups, and they make plum ketchups, and they make all kinds of ketchups. Not something I was prepared to learn.
Or talk about today.
I know. This is not even. We thought we were gonna like stop it after the the ribbon talk, but no. Now we're on to ketchups. But I will ask him about that because, Heinz is an American company. I feel like they've got to have some kind of an in there. If not, I'll at least just get you some. And also, Kelly, if you're nice, I'll get you a little pin because you're vaccinated. So
yes, I am.
You need 5 for the family, right?
Well, my daughter's too young to get the vaccination, but yes.
Well, okay, I'll give you 4.
Okay.
I'm writing checks I can't cash though.
Yes.
Again, after Swanky wore one, I'm not sure we can get our hands on them today. Speaking of fancy foods and fancy ketchups, Nikki Nellis from Industry Night joins us in a few minutes. Talk about the Michelin Guide. They're coming back. They've given out stars. There's Bib Gourmands, which I'm not sure what that means. I think it means like cheap fancy. We'll talk about all of that coming up with her in just a few minutes. With Willie Water from WSSC Water. Are you excited about Drinking Water Week? Willie doesn't talk. All right, May 2nd through the 8th, we've got Drinking Water Week happening. And when you go to realfunddc.com/waterfund, you're going to learn all about the work WSSC Water does to help support our neighbors who can't afford their water and sewer bills. And get $100 restaurant gift cards from local awesome eateries. So we're helping out neighbors, we're helping out restaurants, and you're having a great meal. How awesome for Drinking Water Week. Go to realfunddc.com/waterfund.